Hey, how's it going, guys? MrBossFTW here, and in today's Grand Theft Auto 5 video, we're going to be talking about some of the secret details and hidden features of the 8 unreleased vehicles that are going to be coming out hopefully sometime soon within the next couple weeks and months, I would imagine, as a part of the Gunrunning DLC. So if you missed my video yesterday, it was actually a live stream where we did the customization and the sort of speed testing of these cars, sort of like rough drag tests. I'll leave a link to that in the description. So if you're wondering why I'm not like going over all the customization in this video, it's because we did that more in depth in a live stream. Today, we're strictly going to be looking at some of the things you may not notice at a first glance or inside the LSC. So let's start with the wheels of these vehicles. We're going to be talking about which ones are unique, which ones can be painted, and so much more. So let's start with the XA21, the supercar, as it has the most unique set of wheels. So as you guys can see here, it has like this center cap that is actually changed based off of what you make the primary color. So if you make the primary color lime green, that color is going to be lime green. If you make it your crew color, it'll be your crew color, blue, etc., etc. However, it doesn't change the other part of the wheel. That can only be done via the iFruit app. So you can see I'm messing around with this in single player right now, and it changes like the inside of the wheel. The outside is still like that sort of slate gray, but you can change the inside part to match whatever color you want or to make it a specific color. Definitely one of the most unique wheel patterns. But again, if you have this vehicle and when it does release and online, you're going to need the iFruit app in order to change the other parts of the wheel, which to me was a little bit interesting. Moving on to the other supercar, we have the Vagner. The Vagner's default wheels can be changed via the iFruit app. However, if those wheels look familiar, well, that's because they should, because in the sports class, there's actually wheels called Mercy that are literally identical. So you don't even have to use the iFruit app to change them. If for whatever reason you like the tire or the look of Mercy better, then you can go with that. But the Vagner does have wheels that can be changed in terms of their color. If we move on to the Terreiro or the Lamborghini Countach, it can actually not have its wheels changed, which is not surprising because the Unreleased Classic can't have the wheel color changed either, so I didn't expect that to. Moving on to the Cheetah Classic, it can also not have its wheels changed, which is quite a bummer because those are some actually nice stock wheels, and I don't think any of them really match what we have going on in the game so far, so unfortunately we cannot change those. If we move on to the next vehicle, the Ardent, it can also not have its stock wheels change, which is a little bit disappointing, as I thought for sure we would be able to with this vehicle, but unfortunately that is a no-go there. If we move on to the Night Shark can have its custom wheels changed, which is actually pretty cool because I don't know if there's any off-road wheels that look similar to this, but the Night Shark can have its wheels changed, which is pretty epic. If we move on to another vehicle, that being the Insurgent Custom, it cannot have its wheels changed, which is weird. But it can have custom other wheels on there like sports or high-ends or anything like that. And then same with the technical custom, you can't change the color of the wheels either. So it's about a 50-50 split, maybe a little bit less. But I always find it interesting which vehicles Rockstar choose to allow to have their rims colored versus ones that they don't. I understand if like they're chrome, you can't really color that, but there were still a couple in here that I thought were actually pretty weird. Now, let's talk about another feature that I think is pretty awesome, revolving some of the more classic vehicles that are coming. Starting with the Terreiro, all these vehicles have awesome pop-up headlights. And this was a feature that we've seen introduced more recently with the Turismo and the Unreleased Classic. The Terreiro, the Ardent, and the Cheetah Classic all have these beautiful pop-up headlights, which is by far one of my favorite features of these old school cars. It just looks so cool. I love the animation. I love how it looks when you're driving down the road at night with those pop-up headlights coming up. And all of them on all three cars are unique in their own different ways, which I actually think is pretty awesome. So that's another pretty cool feature right there. Let's stick with the classic car and the Ardent. There is a couple things about the Ardent that you might not know. Number one, on the front, it actually has an elongated license plate. So I don't know if this is a feature of the car it's based off of, which is the Lotus Esprit, but its license plate in the front is longer than in the back, which to me really bothers me. It sends my OCD like over the wall. But again, I don't know if that's a feature of the Lotus in real life, so I guess that could be accurate. It is also armed A lot of you guys might not know this, but it fires miniguns from the front, or like 7.62 millimeter rounds from the front. So it is armed in that way, pretty similar to the JB700. And because this vehicle was featured in James Bond as an aquatic car, a lot of people have been asking me, can this car submerge underwater and survive? And the answer to that is no, it cannot. If you drive this car into the water, it's going to get destroyed and you're going to start drowning. So unfortunately, that was not one of the features of this car, but it's also not surprising as its price tag is only over $1 million. And if we had a submarine car, you know, Rockstar would have jacked up the price to like a couple million at least if we wanted to be able to buy that. Now let's talk about some details regarding the Debauchee Vagner, one of the first supercars we're expecting to get in this update. There's a couple things about it. Number one is it has a very, very rare paint job application. It actually has 4 different options that you can choose from. I think it's only the second car that has this. The X80 Proto is the other one. So it has a primary color, which is pretty awesome. Secondary, which we can all expect. It has trim color, which is the inside, and then accent color, which is some features on the outside, which is really unique. So we rarely see cars that have this amount of paint job ability. So I definitely wanted to include it in this video. And even though it's something you probably won't overlook when you first get it in the LSC, it is interesting as we have like over 500 something cars in this game, yet there's only like 1 or 2 or 3 that have the ability for 4 paint job options, which is awesome. Now, another thing that's not so awesome about the Vagner is it's affected by downforce. And right now, downforce is broken in online. So unless Rockstar fixed that, when this vehicle is released, there's going to be an issue with it. So as we find out more information about this car, I'll be sure to keep you guys updated. But when it is released, just know that there is a chance that it might be released as a broken car until Rockstar are able to do something about it, just like they did with the left turning issue with the Unreleased Classic and a couple other vehicles about an update or so ago. Okay, so I found this to be pretty interesting, but a couple cool references regarding the names of 2 vehicles, the Vagner and the Terreiro. So I'm sure you guys know, but the Vagner is based off of Aston Martin's newest hypercar called the Valkyrie, and in game it's called the Vagner. Now that name is also a nod to Wagner, but it's pronounced Vagner, who composed Ride of the Valkyries, which was a pretty cool symphony. So that's a pretty cool quality reference by Rockstar in terms of them naming this vehicle what they did. And also the Terreiro, which is essentially the Lamborghini Countach. Terreiro actually means bullfighter. And I'm sure you guys know the Lamborghini logo is a bull. So that's a pretty cool reference right there. Rockstar is really funny when it comes to their real-life references of logos and names, and I thought that was cool enough to include in this video today. Something you may not know about our 3 remaining armored vehicles, the Night Shark, the Insurgent Custom, and the Technical Custom, is that they can all tow the anti-aircraft trailer. So right now, there isn't a great vehicle to tow this. You have the APC, which I think is the best of really both worlds in terms of protection and speed, but there's not a great car. Well, soon there will be. The Night Shark will be able to tow the anti-aircraft trailer. Same with the Insurgent Custom and the Technical Custom. Now, the reason this is kind of a secret, number 1, Insurgent Custom and Technical Custom aren't out yet. But number 2, the only way to play around with the Night Shark is to do the vehicle mission. And if you haven't done that, you probably have no clue that it can do something like this. So another great feature of these vehicles that's going to make them extremely worthwhile and valuable, especially if you're using them for the gun running business. On their own, they could be cool, but when you combine them with your business, that's when they really shine. We've also got the vehicle descriptions of these cars, which I actually think are really funny, and I haven't showed them off in any other video, so let's take a look at them right now. We are going to start with the Vagner, which is, this is what you get when you start from a truly blank slate. Take every preconception you ever had about hypercar design, every piece of received wisdom, every rock-solid assumption, every tried and tested formula, take them all and dump a hot steaming pile of filthy ingenuity all over them. The Vagner is a message from the future. You're late. So that's pretty awesome right there. The next one is the Cheetah Classic, which is there's a kind of charm that only comes with age. And in today's jaded world, nothing aged better than the Cheetah Classic. It's practical, spacious, understated. It oozes red-blooded panache. You open the door and you catch the smell of brandy and cigars on its breath. It's eminently respectable and it's consistently groping its secretary, and it doesn't even feel the need to pretend it has friends from minority groups. Welcome to the old world. That right there is the Cheetah Classic. Up next is the Terreiro. To own a Pegassi Terreiro is to own a piece of history. This car marked the end of an era, a bygone age when porn stars had luxuriant pubic hair and supercars didn't take risks. Then came the Terreiro, a wedge-shaped, scissor-doored stallion fresh from a back, sack, and crack, and nothing was ever the same. Decades later, it still looks like it rolled straight out of a wet dream, wearing nothing but a glint in its eye. This one is for the collector, so that's the Terreiro. Up next, we've got the Ardent. It's a rare car that allows you to be perfectly composed, effortlessly suave, and extraordinarily violent at all the same time, and yet somehow the Ardent does all that and more. Behind the wheel of this masterpiece, there's nothing you can't do. Lose your pursuers, pop the dual machine guns, gun down the survivors, drop a filthy remark, open the champagne, have a quickie, drive into the sea, realize you've made a terrible mistake, and swiftly drown. So even they make a reference to the fact that this car is most famously known by James Bond driving it into the sea. So I think that's a pretty cool reference for the Ardent right there. We've got the next one, which is the Night Shark. There's a special moment in the life of every billionaire when you realize that everyone else is trying to kill you and steal from you. And when the time comes, you want a vehicle built exclusively to cater to that paranoid delusion. Enter the Night Shark, where you can sit in perfect comfort behind tinted, sniper-proof glass as the filthy hordes press against your armored hull, then pull the trigger on the dual machine guns and relax as the car does all the hard work for you. Who's crazy now? That's a pretty cool description, and speaking of that, I will be doing the bulletproof / window proof explosive tests in another video. It would have been way too much to put in this one, so stay tuned for that coming up. And then last but not least, we have the XA21, who says, to those who argue that the supercar is dead and hybrid tech was only a fad, the XA21 would like a word as soon as it's done banging your mom. And when you're done saying thank you, it'll show the kind of annihilating performance that can only be achieved by locking a team of world-class engineers in a lab for 6 months and lacing their food with amphetamines. This is the cutting edge, and you're welcome. So those are the descriptions right there. And speaking of the XA21, I don't really know if this is a secret feature, but it's cool as hell. And it's the sound of the car. This vehicle sounds incredible. It literally growls at you. A lot of the supercars have this like whiny, hissy noise, like a turbocharger. This one it seriously yells at you. You guys got to hear it for yourself. Check the live stream I did yesterday in the description. It's totally cool, and it shows you guys just how menacing this vehicle is. But really, that's all the information I have for you guys in this video today regarding the secret features, hidden details, and things you might not have known about the unreleased cars. All 8 of them coming to Grand Theft Auto Online soon. Let me know which one of these is your favorite in the comment section down below. I'm pretty curious to hear from you guys down there. If you did go and enjoy this video, though, a like rating would of course be awesome. And also subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new or you like daily GTA 5 videos like this. With all the way, guys, like I said, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.